Once upon a time, in a cozy nursery, bathed in the soft glow of a night lamp, there lived a stunningly detailed anthropomorphic white cat girl with her long blonde hair cascading down her back and very large, intense blue eyes. Luna was a picture of serene beauty. Her body had natural, aesthetically balanced proportions that made her all the more alluring. She was wearing a bright yellow hoodie and ripped denim shorts. The room was filled with the rhythmic breathing of her sleeping daughter, Daisy, who was lying in her cradle nearby. She was a cute, detailed, anthropomorphic small white cat with the same intense blue eyes as her mother, and just as adorable. She was wearing a pamper. As night deepened, Luna couldn't help but feel a sense of overwhelming love for her little girl. She gently rocked Daisy before lowering her into his cradle. The quiet murmur of his breathing was a soothing melody that lulled her into a peaceful state of tranquility. After placing her daughter down, Luna turned to leave the nursery. As she did, she couldn't resist humming a soft lullaby. She placed a kiss on Daisy's forehead and she stirred slightly but quickly fell back asleep. Luna smiled, her heart filled with tenderness as she stepped away. But as she took a few steps, the room seemed to fill with a second lullaby. It was low and distant, yet eerily similar to the one she had just sung. Luna froze. The sound seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. A chill ran down her spine, shattering the calm security that had enveloped her just moments before. Taking a deep breath, she tried to shake off the unease. Perhaps it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But as she turned to leave, the lullaby grew louder, weaving its way into the fabric of the night. It sounded like a chorus of voices, each one mournful than the last. Frightened, Luna stumbled back, her eyes searching for the source of the haunting tune. Suddenly, she noticed something peculiar. Daisy, who had been fast asleep moments before, was now sitting up in his cradle, giggling uncontrollably. Her eyes were wide and gleaming, fixed on some unseen point above the cradle. Hesitantly, Luna approached her Daisy, her heart pounding in her chest. As she neared the cradle, the lullaby reached a crescendo. But before she could utter a word, Daisy let out a blood-curdling scream. Terror-stricken, Luna stumbled back, her mind racing. What had caused her daughter's sudden outburst? And where was the song coming from? Before she could ponder further, the room seemed to darken, and a figure emerged from the shadows. It was another cat, but not one Luna recognized. The newcomer was equally stunning, but in a different way. This cat had sleek black hair that framed her face, accentuating her intense blue eyes. Her body was just as beautiful as Luna's, with natural, aesthetically balanced proportions. She was wearing a fitted black top and matching fitted black shorts. Her entrance was silent, yet her presence commanded attention. The cat rubbed her eyes as if awakening from a slumber. "Did I hear singing?" she asked, her voice a low purr. Luna, still shaken by Daisy's outburst, could only manage a bewildered shake of her head. As if on cue, the cradle began to rock gently, and both mothers gasped. They turned toward the sound and saw that both babies were clapping their tiny hands, their eyes locked on the cradle. In an instant, the rocking became more vigorous, and the lullaby swelled in volume, now a cacophony of sound. The mothers rushed to the cradle, their faces etched with worry. Luna looked back at the black cat, her eyes wide with alarm. She couldn't understand what was happening, but she knew instinctively that they needed to work together to protect their children. As the rocking intensified, the shadows in the room writhed and stretched, taking on a life of their own. One particularly long shadow reached out and brushed against Luna's leg. She recoiled in horror, feeling a bone-chilling coldness that sent shivers down her spine. Suddenly, the shadow seemed to lift slightly, as if an unseen finger had brushed against it. Startled, Luna cried out and took a step back, but the shadow persisted, reaching out toward her once again. This time, it brushed against her arm, and she screamed in terror. The touch was cold, lifeless, and utterly terrifying. In that moment, Luna knew that whatever was happening to the cradle, whatever was causing it to rock and sway, was also reaching out to her, trying to touch her, to pull her into its darkness. Fear constricted her throat, making it impossible to call out for help. Then, as quickly as it began, the touch stopped. The shadow receded, and the rocking of the cradle grew more violent, shaking the entire room with its force. With a surge of adrenaline, Luna lunged for Daisy, scooping him up in her arms. As she held him close, she felt a sudden movement at the edge of her vision. It was the black cat, her eyes blazing with an otherworldly glow. She was staring intently at the cradle, and her expression was grim. Just then, the rocking stopped abruptly, and the room fell silent. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. The silence was heavy, thick with tension. Then, slowly, very slowly, the cradle began to rock again. It was a gentle motion at first, almost imperceptible, but it quickly grew stronger, faster, the rocking becoming more violent with each passing second. Suddenly, the blanket on the cradle flew off, revealing a sight that made Luna's blood run cold. For a split second, she saw a skeletal hand, long and bony, clutching the edge of the cradle as if trying to pull itself up. It was a horrifying sight, the stuff of nightmares. And just as quickly, it was gone. The blanket fell back into place, hiding whatever horrors lay beneath. But Luna's eyes, wide with disbelief, remained fixed on the cradle. A strangled cry escaped her lips, a mix of terror and disbelief. Her gaze darted around the room, searching for an explanation, for a logical reason behind what she had seen. But there was nothing. The nursery, with its rocking cradle and dark secrets, offered no answers. As the rocking continued, growing faster and wilder, Luna knew she couldn't stand by and watch. She had to do something. Anything to stop it. But what? The question echoed in her mind, unanswered. She glanced at the black cat. For a moment, their eyes met. And in that instant, a silent understanding passed between them. They were both mothers, both protectors, both willing to face the darkness that threatened their children. Together,